One, and we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the last session. Now, this is going to be pretty cool, and it's a load of indie creators that are doing some really cool stuff in Horizon, in Free Party VR, and we have special guest VR Girl as well. And this is going to be moderated by the big friend of future artists in our labs, Rob Scott, who is here. Hey, Rob.
The big friend. Like what? All right.
I don't know. There's no script. There's no auto cue. This is live, man. This is as it is. So I'm going to go, Rob, because this is all yours, and I'm so looking forward to this. So I'll see you at the other end, pal.
We'll see what happens, mate. We'll see what happens. Hello, everybody. Still 30. So if you've not seen me before, my name's Rob Scott. Along with a bunch of other awesome people, we run a meetup in Manchester. In normal times, we meet up called VR Manchester, and that's just a bunch of people that love to talk about VR. But today, I'm really excited to talk to three people who all, as Mark said, they are creators that think about avatars, but also think about the places that those avatars inhabit. And we're just going to talk to them one at a time, and they'll kind of tell us their story, and we'll see where that conversation goes. So the first person I'm going to talk to is Lewis. Lewis, do you want to turn on your camera and join us? Hi, Lewis. How's it going?
Hey, Rob. How are you doing? You all right?
I'm good, thanks. So if you could just tell us a little bit about your background, like where did you get started creating experiences for virtual reality?
So one of the main sort of stuff that I do is film and animation. That's kind of what I've been doing for the past 10 or so years. And then I've always done game design since I was a kid, but it's been kind of, I've ramped that up in the past couple of years. I started out doing VR experiences that were all sort of audio visual stuff. So they weren't like hugely interactive. They were just more of a sort of something that you experience. And I've done those at like kind of public installations. And then since April last year, I created Free Party, which is my social VR platform. And that was basically just as a response to the COVID lockdown.
Cool. I know you've done quite a few projects, but Free Party VR has like been your biggest in terms of scope. So you slightly vanished. I think your camera might not figure out where you are anymore. But it's Free Party VR has been the biggest in terms of scope. So what's been like the biggest challenge in making some kind of multi-user experience like that actually work?
Should be back now. Sorry about
that.
You're back. Yeah, so the hardest thing, I mean, all the projects I've done so far, they haven't really been games as such. And because Free Party, because it's online and it's multiplayer, it's like game times 10 because you have to count for so many different audience members and everyone's got different computer setups and stuff. Usually I've had projects that are in a controlled environment, so I have complete control over the software and the hardware that I'm using to display in the headset. And this time, even something like, it's crazy, like even the Oculus Quest and the Oculus Quest 2, which you'd think would work as like like a console, so it should be the same experience for everyone. I've had really different experiences from different people just with the same headset, which is really bizarre.
Yeah, it's kind of like Cyberpunk 2077 came out, and on certain consoles you'd think it was going to be okay, and then obviously even a massive studio like that with all the budget behind it struggled to target that range of devices so easily. So what kind of so have you been building spaces in Free Party VR for people to inhabit? What kind of things have you learned doing that?
So the main way that I approach it is that first of all, I created I just wanted to create like a rave environment. So what you can see behind me is the Free Party sort of the base environment, which is a warehouse space. And it started off pretty empty. And then gradually I've had collaborators come in like Jason Foster. You can see that the big red Tron sculpture that he created. And as artists come in, they sort of submit work to me and then I prepare it and put it into the game. And the other thing that I've done is I've watched how users sort of explore the space. And then for the next event, so it happens usually every month, for the next event, I'll then add new stuff in which plays into the kind of emergent gameplay that I see from the players. So I tried to make it a very much audience-driven experience, even though I'm kind of the person that's creating the end content.
Do you find that is there any kind of stylistic challenge in that? Because obviously there's a lot of work goes into creating like a coherent space for people to be in, like in a real space, but also in a virtual space. But having like different artists come in, like, does that change the aesthetic? Does it make it clash or anything like that?
It can do a bit, and what we do as well, we've got a secret room, and at the moment we've got a bit of a Tron theme going. So we have a thing called an art quest, which is you go around the level and there's a series of kind of images and clues that go with it, and you follow those in sequence, and then once you've got all 9 images, you then get sent to a secret room, and the secret room is like the off spill. So any art that we have that doesn't really fit into the warehouse is a bit abstract. We then create a secret room. So at the moment we've got the Tron grid, so it's a recreation of the original Tron grid, and that was completely created by Jason Foster. He recreated all the models from the film, and you get teleported into there.
That's so cool. I love that. That's kind of like you're making a bug a feature. Like it could be like a really dissonant thing, but actually you've created this whole eclectic extra space to host it all and made it into something that's like interesting in and of its own right. That's really, really cool. Because I know we're already a bit behind, we're gonna bring the VR girl in now. So Lewis, I know you're gonna be back in a little bit, but if you want to drop off, and VR girl, are you there? Is this gonna work? You gonna come in? There she is. Are you there? Can you hear us? You want to turn your mic off as well? Turn mic on, sorry. Now she's got a virtual browser window in VR, so she's like got a headset on and then is also controlling the hop-in. So she's got like several modalities that are all getting smooshed together to try and make something. You're here.
Oh, there. It works.
You did it.
Yeah,
hello, welcome.
Awesome. Okay, cool.
This is the first time I've moderated a discussion that includes a virtual avatar, so I'm genuinely excited about this. So very open question. Just tell us a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do.
Okay, so I'm the VR girl. So I am a research project that's I took the code that had the pill. I took the pill. It had the code, and so I'm here to start the transhuman movement. I'm the first transhuman.
Tell us about that. What does it mean to be transhuman?
So it means to. Everybody likes to be avatars. So, I mean, I love being an avatar. And so the whole goal is to, turn everybody into, get them into the virtual reality and to mainstream it. So I kind of go back and forth between my story and the real me. The goal of this is to spread. The easiest way to spread this technology is through social media. And so, that's why I started doing this. Was to get more people to see this, because people are really interested in these avatars and they want to be avatars. Ultimately, they do.
Cool. Okay. Just talk a bit more. I know one of the things we talked about when we had like a little pre-meeting was when you first started out this kind of research project experiment. Like you were experimenting with Facebook Spaces, and something happened to your avatar. Tell us about that.
Oh, Facebook. I need that avatar back. So I loved her. I did. And I refer to them they become like a part of me. So like this avatar right here, like I'm attached to her. You know what I mean? Like, but I have control over this avatar with the Facebook Spaces. Now this was the original Facebook Spaces avatar that they had. And I just loved her so much. I did. I loved the way her hair moved. And I love the fact that you could go live with her, and it was so easy. I mean, it was all you had to do was pull out that camera, and it automatically hooked to their platform, and you could go live with it. And I absolutely fell in love with that. And then they discontinued her, and so I was in the process of branding her and everything, and then they discontinued those avatars, and so I had to start pretty much all the way over. And so that's when I got this one made.
That's cool. And it's interesting, like the concept of like the ownership of that. Like you developed an attachment to that avatar, and you talk about her as she, like a different version of you. Yeah. So interesting. But like who should own these things, and what responsibility do people have, or companies, organizations have over those creations?
Yeah, because look, if you go in there and you start killing avatars, you're going to lose users. You are going to lose users. Altspace did it. Because if you do, you can add more avatar systems to it. You know what I mean? But as far as killing them off and like discontinuing them, just like abruptly, that's not going to work, because you're going to lose users, and you're going to lose your loyal users that was there with you from the beginning too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's one thing to keep in mind with these avatars, is that people get attached to them, and if you don't give them the freedom to have control over them, then there's going to be a problem.
Now, tell us a little bit about the environment that you're in at the moment. Like, what's around you? Is there anything interesting there?
Yeah, so here's my shop, my clothing shop. We're going to start having the NFT clothes and stuff like that. So here's the clothing shop here. And then right across the street here, I'll show you. We have, let's see. I'll just go up here like this. And so this is really cool, this program. Now, this program, what I'm using right here, is called Flipside XR. It's a free program. And it gives you so much tools that you can do, like little animations and stuff like that with. But yeah, this is amazing. Like this, it came so far from when I first started, because when I first started, I started with the Samsung gear, you know what I mean? And then I just to see how fast that it's just grown, it's really incredible. They're doing a really good job, they really are. So we got the Facebook here, but yeah, we're gonna cut the scene over here too, back to me. But yeah, it's really, it's amazing. And then you come in here and it's almost like whenever I'm not in her, I still feel like she's like in here partying or living, like, what I'm saying? Like, I still feel, I don't think like, it's weird. It's a really weird thing, but like, I don't want nothing to happen to this avatar. Like if I want to use her again or something like that. But yeah, they definitely they come to life. Like it's, we get attached to them. Yeah, we definitely do.
Definitely. Now, I think that is a good point, because I would like for us to have some time to all talk together at the end, because there were some threads that came up when we talked before. But yeah. Facebook HQ being over the road is a great opportunity to transfer over to Tina. So whatever you want to do via Girl, whatever is easiest for you, you can hang around and mute, or you can disappear. But Tina, do you want to come in and we'll talk a little bit about your story? Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
So first of all, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started building things in VR?
Yeah, my first experience with VR was at South by Southwest down in Austin, the big conference down there, and I went to the expo there, and I put on a headset, and I was just amazed. It was just like, I'd heard about it a lot before, but I'd never actually tried it. And so when I put it on, it was just amazing. And I got to do a couple experiences there. And then when I came back home, the Quest was being sold or about to be released. So I ended up purchasing the Quest 1, and I started playing around on Altspace and just kind of playing some games and things like that. And I applied for the experience with Facebook Horizon, and I got into the beta, and I was really excited about that. And then I started playing around with the building tools and thought, oh my goodness, this is amazing. I love building, and it took me forever to build the first world. And that's kind of how I got started. Yeah.
One of the things, so through the VR Manchester meetup, a lot of the people I meet are like quite technical. So 3D artists, designers, developers. So it was really like refreshing to meet someone and talk to someone who's kind of come to it fresh. So you don't necessarily have experience using like Antonio was talking about Unity earlier. You don't have experience with like real-time game engines or 3D modeling tools or things like that. And so if you could tell us a bit about your experience of using the tools in Facebook Horizon and why that's been so positive for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't have any background experience. I don't have a gaming PC or anything like that. So I just started using the tools, and I realized that using the shapes to start building really was something that connected with my dyslexia. I'm dyslexic. And so it was just awesome because I can see things in 3D and rotate them in my head And I already know what that shape is going to look like, resized and reshaped before I reshape it. So I know what it's going to look like when I put it in place when I'm building. So just pulling those tools, and it just came really naturally for me as I was started to build. And, it took trial and error, obviously, and never, not giving up, but I was able to do it fairly easily. So that's kind of my building experience with the tools, just kind of learning on my own.
Yeah, you said something when we were talking before about like how collaborative it's been for you, and how like the being in the world, it's sometimes a little bit easier to talk to people. I don't know if you wanted to talk about that.
Absolutely. When I first meet someone, sometimes I can be a little bit quiet and things like that. But just having that VR avatar, it kind of takes away the I don't know how to say it, but it just kind of, it removes the, oh, what are they going to think of me? That kind of thing. Like, and just, you are able to just start talking to them, and you don't know what they really look like, and they don't know what you really look like, and it doesn't really matter. And, we meet all kinds of different people, and it really does help socially as well. I'm able to speak in front of students all day long. I'm also a teacher during the day, but just sometimes that getting that started with relationships, I'm a little bit more quiet at first, but I really feel like that being in VR in avatar form, it's easier to connect. I just don't know. It's very different.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think it's quite hard to put into like my last experience of being in a different, like kind of most weird one was the Lost Horizon Festival that Glastonbury did in the UK, and I like went all in because I've got an older gaming PC and a newer gaming PC. I've got a Vive, I've got a Quest, so I could use like the tether to do it, and like, but they gave quite limited like avatar options. So me and my partner were both, like, let's go to the festival. It's a pandemic. Let's do this. And the only avatar she had was like a very diminutive, very different avatar to what she looks like in real life. And there was a point where she like came close to me in the virtual world, not in the real world. And I felt kind of weird in that it's like, this isn't you. I shouldn't be this close to another female, to a female that isn't you, kind of. And I think that was very much about me being embodied, but also her being embodied as something that was different. And knowing that, I think, changes your relationship with the avatar. Then when, like you said, when you don't know, I think then people just assume that's who you are. It's a very like weird and interesting thing to be embodied as something different. One last thing I wanted to ask you about, you just tell us about, like, you've made a couple of worlds in Horizon.
Sure.
Tell us about like the most kind of interesting or complex one of those that you've done.
Well, let's see. I really enjoy building houses. So building spaces with windows and being able to see out and the view and everything. I took my Facebook group and turned it into a world. So I took my Facebook group and I built a house that is, well, it's not really a house, it's a gathering place for, my goal was to invite people with dyslexia in, and we could sit and talk or gather and, hang out, and just to have a common place to have that group in a VR space. And that was kind of my first attempt at building a structure like that. And then, so another one that I really enjoyed building, if I could talk about that really quickly, was Sunset Beach. And so, that's my favorite place to be in the whole world. So I was able to take what I saw in my head of the beach and the beach house and the ocean view and make it into a world where I could go visit and others could visit as well. I'm going along, but and then also I'm going back and forth, going back as an extension of my dyslexia world. I also built an experience that somebody could enter and feel what it's like to go through dyslexia and, go into the classroom and feel the weight of the teacher and the sadness of reading and spelling, and then moving into college and being able to use assistive technology and being able to see the success at the end of it. And so you can also create a story through your VR and help other people kind of see what you're feeling and share your vision that way.
I think that's really interesting, especially how you came back to things and learned, and like you've looked at different things like architecting spaces, but also architecting like spatial stories almost. Like that's a really interesting and powerful thing. That's like it's central to everything that's happening in immersive stuff at the moment. Let's bring VR Girl and Lewis back in, if that's okay. If you both want to hit your cameras back on, because we have some time, even though we're a bit delayed. I think we're gonna run a bit long. Mark won't mind. Oh no. We've had a costume change.
We did.
Brilliant.
We did. We had we had a costume change. Yeah.
I mean, I none of us had time, but you did, so that's good. So wait, what's it like? You know, what was the motivation for changing costume? Out of interest.
Oh, so and another thing I do within the virtual reality is I have in another app, I have my avatar in there too, but I have a full music studio. And so we're actually creating professional quality sounding music from the virtual reality and transient. And so I have like $2,000 worth of VST3. So this is like my music studio, to kind of represent that with, because that's the part of what I do too as well. Mm-hmm. I'm an avatar that makes music within the virtual reality.
I get it. Cool. And yeah, Lewis, have you gone into your secret nutty room?
Well, no, this is the gallery space, which is just on the side of the warehouse. So right. Every month we have a bunch of different artists that submit work, and then we have it all displayed and links to their socials and stuff. It's just another, a lot of, like I've done actual events as well, and a lot of the events that I've done in the past have always been closely linked between art and music. So I wanted to bring that into this virtual setting as well. That's
cool. I love it. So one of the things that came up in our pre-event chat, and we've touched on already, was like how embodying a virtual avatar has helped break down some barriers, whilst also creating entirely new situations, like good and bad stuff. So VR Girl, I think you said something about, and we're going to talk a bit about your real life persona. Like how being a VR avatar has helped you become more confident in real life. Is that right?
Yeah, it has, definitely. So I mean, I always wanted to start like a YouTube channel, and I always wanted to do that. I thought that was so cool that people would get on here and start these YouTube channels. And so, but I tried, and I was really nervous about it. And so whenever this came along, I was able to kind of like mask myself behind the avatar, and that helped me out so much. So, I mean, I just started creating content, and, performing in front of people in here. I mean, setting up events in front of people. It's really, it's helped me get over that, social anxiety that I used to feel, when presenting in front of people. But there's a twofold to that too, though, because even people wonder why I do hide behind the avatar, and they're like, well, we want to see the real you. We want to see the real you. But I enjoy being an avatar, and I enjoy it. And so it does come twofold, because there are people out there that does not understand, why I'm hiding behind the avatar. You know what I mean? It's not really I'm hiding. I just enjoy it. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Completely. I think so. I was thinking a lot about that. Like, I think in a world of where Catfish is a huge show on MTV, there's a UK version starting soon. Like, people not being their true selves has been stigmatized is the wrong word, but focused on. And at the same time, I just think it's so much easier to just be like, well, if that's what makes you feel comfortable, why would we care? You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Great costume change that time.
I did a different costume change. And so I can actually bring in my UI. Well, this is the mesh. I just have the mesh. It does this cool effect. But I could show you what I'm using to do this. That's what I want to do, because I think y'all need to see this. It's so interesting. Let me see. Show UI. So here, I'm actually going to show you my UI now. This is how I'm doing it. So we have you know, let's see. We have my panel here that has the avatars, everything. I can switch avatars, and it's so easy to do. I mean, you just literally just, you know, pull it out, and that's who you are. You know what I mean? And so, this tool is really, really. I mean, if you want to become an avatar, I mean, this tool is really cool. There's all kind of tools within virtual reality that you know they could use, and it's really easy. The thing I love about it though is because I wasn't a professional animator, I would have had no idea how to do any of this. But then when virtual reality comes along, I mean, it opens it up for not just professionals but for everybody.
Yeah, definitely. Tina, I just wanted to come to you quickly because we've already talked about like how it's easier to talk. You know, you found it a little easier to talk in VR, but I know you also talked about like how that's helped collaboration. Like when people come in and they will pick up the things that you maybe haven't had as much background in.
Absolutely. Yeah, I really enjoy the building part and the designing and the art piece. That scripting is not something that I know about at all. So I've had a lot of collaborators come in and animate something for me, or you know, make something move across you know, the space, and help me with voice boxes and, you know, triggers and things like that I'm not too sure of. And they'll sit and they'll say, okay, watch as I do this. And I'm actually learning as they're doing it. And so collaboration is huge. And also you meet some really great creators and some good contacts that way as well.
That's cool. And I guess like probably easier than collaborating over something like Zoom, where you could still learn and pair with somebody to learn, but like they're in a space with you and you get the gestures and the focus. Like there's something about like this kind of communication where we're in a box and we're like you don't have conversations with people staring into their eyes all the time. You look other places and you gesture to things, and so like that kind of embodiment I can imagine is quite interesting when you're doing something collaborative like that.
Well, and with my dyslexia, hands-on is huge. So if I can watch them do it and then follow them along or do it with them, I learn a lot better that way. So, you know, even in avatar form, I'm able to follow what they do and, okay, they did this and I can do that and I'll learn that. And so it all comes together, and just the learning piece has been really huge for me. Yeah. And the collaboration is really good.
I love how we're all ignoring that VR Girl is now some weird fly creature. She's doing a thing. She's doing a thing. That's, I mean, wow. I have zero words to describe what is happening.
Oh my.
I'm gonna, Lewis, one thing I wanted to pick up, you brought this up, like we touched on like some of the darker aspects of avatars and embodiment. There was a story about full body tracking in VR chat from a few years ago. I don't know if you wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, so there was sort of quite famous stream at the time. It's during a live stream, and there was a guy and he had a full Vive tracker set up. And then he actually collapsed on the floor and his body started moving in weird ways. And a lot of people just assumed that it was like a glitch or something. But then as people crowded around and started trying to talk to the person, they realized he was having an epileptic fit. And then I think eventually someone with some medical knowledge came over and started trying to talk him through and like talk him out of it. And I think, you know, the more time that we all start spending in virtual worlds and these kind of things will just be commonplace. Like, you know, you got to imagine that anything that happens in reality can also happen in VR.
Yeah, like, well, it's I don't know why I'm brought back to it, but you know, there's Scrooge, the Bill Murray film. They talk about, they show this advert that's really scary, and an old lady dies of a heart attack whilst watching their ad, and that's this great PR because he's a horrible character in it. But like, we're gonna have this moment where like somebody, like probably Facebook, will be the first environment that somebody dies in. Somebody may have already died in virtual reality. Who knows? But like social virtual reality, multi-user, like these kind of things are literally on the horizon. And I'm not going to end on a dark note. We can't end on a dark note, can we? Mark, I don't know if you wanted to come in with any questions because oh, sorry, what were you going to say, Liz?
Oh, I was going to say it too. You know, I've been able to collaborate with people who might be in a wheelchair, or they might have a physical disability, and they're able to run, jump, build and do all these things that they might not be able to do. And so, I just thought that was really neat that, and you would never know unless they told you that, they had a disability. So that,
there's something, there's like I forget what they're called, but the model of disability where it's like, it's not the person that is like, the person has an impairment only if their environment does not cater for that impairment. So like the things that you use to cross the street wherever you are, like they will have an auditory thing to tell you that, it's now safe to cross. But many, I know, like the ones in Australia and Ireland have a vibration. On the UK, they have a little knob underneath that turns around. If you don't know this, if you're from the UK, there's a tiny little knob underneath the things that you press the button on. And if you hold that, as it changes, it turns around. And that is for somebody that is, maybe visually impaired and or hearing impaired. Social model of disability, thank you, Isabel, still has a way that they cannot be impaired by that interface. And I think that's what VR does, is it like the gravity gloves in Half-Life Alyx make it better for everybody. They're really good if you can't reach down to the floor and grab things, but then they make it better for everybody. VR Girl, did you want to talk about why you're a fly?
Yeah, so hold on, let me come back here. Okay, so it's kind of bugging out on me right now, but let's see if we can get it right. So this is hold on, let me get a light. So this is actually a creation. Bob Hackey, he is awesome. If you do not know who he is, he's a Flipside creator, and he actually creates these things. This looked better a minute ago. Hold on, let's see what I could do to make it look better. But yeah, he does all this stuff, and I mean, he's one of Flipside's top creators in here, and it's really cool what he can do with it. And so here, I wasn't here. There you see my legs here down here.
We can.
Let me get my camera out here. Here I am. I'm back.
Now.
So, yeah, but I was you could do anything in here. I have some dude walking behind me. I hope he doesn't attack me in a minute. I don't know. It's a little drunk, but yeah, if there's anything is possible with the virtual reality, and you have to you really open your mind, man, because I mean, it's going to get really exciting within the next 10 years. It really is. With the possibility, because I've seen things that virtual reality can do, and it just blows my mind. And like the fly, like who would have known you could actually come in, the virtual reality and become a fly? You know what I mean? It's crazy. And so I look forward to it. I definitely do. But the possibilities are endless, and not everybody wants to be a human. You know what I mean? Avatar too, as well.
I think that's probably a subject for a whole other event, which is why Mark is here. Mark has joined us to.
I'm kind of worried for VR Girl, because there's a strange zombie thing behind her, and that looks like Manchester Town Hall down the back alley where they filmed Sherlock Holmes. So I'm worried for her safety.
Yeah, definitely.
But I just want to ask the guests here, the participants. It's been an amazing session, and kind of, I guess this is a chance for us to sort of wrap it up. But Tina, I'll start with you. Like, where you're at now in VR with Facebook Horizon and that journey, like, can you see yourself developing and learning new skills and continuing to build there for the next few years and then beyond? Do you think this is a long-term thing?
I think so. I've really found a talent that was kind of covered for a long time. And so it was able to pull that artistic side out, and I really enjoy it. I get lost in it, so I lose time building. So I can see learning new skills and moving forward in this. Definitely, yes.
And I'm looking forward to seeing your work when the UK is allowed to come into Facebook Horizons, because you have the beta invite, so we're not currently able to get in. But I really look forward to exploring your worlds, and thank you for that, Lewis.
Thank you,
Lewis. So we talk a lot about the future, and I guess we're kind of futurists. Like, in the next sort of 5 years with avatars and the digital worlds and your practice, how do you see the world going? What are we gonna see? Are we gonna see more people in there or less people? And what do you think it'd be like?
Well, there's a secondary conversation that's happening. The Virtual Beings Facebook group. There's a lot of chat about how AI agents are actually going to be in the metaverse as well. So it won't just be other people that you're interacting with. There'll be some point in the future, not too distant future, where you won't know who's real and who isn't, and you might even be making friends with completely, AI characters. And they might be following you around, and you might build up whole relationships and stories with these characters.
Is that kind of reverse catfishing though, in a way thing?
So the way that I stand, because there's also like I have a lot of internet friends that I have never met in real life, but some of them I've got really close bonds with, as if they're, I've known them all my life, kind of thing. And I don't see personally, like, I have no barriers. So having friends in virtual reality that are AI characters, why is that any different from having a human friend in normal life? Like, if you get the same quality and value out of having that friendship, and you can, explore.
I mean, this is a big one to end on. We can't talk about it, but I mean, I just keep thinking of data. That's the only thing that goes through my mind is what is that sucking the AI thing taking from you. But we'll discuss this in the chat and the networking, and also for everybody that's out there, you can. Lewis created this world you see behind him. You can go in that now, after this, not yet. Download it, and you can go in there and listen to it and experience it. So quickly, VR girl, and then I'll hand over to Rob to close this down. I've watched your career. Well, we met online, obviously, a few months ago, but I've been back through your YouTube archives and checked out your stuff. So you've been doing this for about 4 years. So this isn't a new thing for you. You've been hanging out in this space and developing. Where'd you've kind of got a small music career beginning. Tell us about that, and where can we see you perform, or what is that?
Yeah, so definitely. I would like to piggyback off of what Tina said as well. Facebook. So for her, Facebook Horizons was the gateway to it. You know what I mean? And she said, so for me, mine was Facebook Spaces. And it definitely, and they're great at building the gateway kind of, entry level, social platforms, because Facebook Spaces completely sucked me into virtual reality. I was sold. But the music, I'm creating music. I taught myself how to make music in the virtual reality in this app called Transient. I have like $2,000 worth of VST3 plugins. I mean, it's a full music studio. I partnered with a recording studio in real life. So I moved all the recording, all the VR into the recording booth. And so we're figuring out that pipeline. So that we can do that. But I've been doing this for a long time. I don't plan on giving up anytime soon. It's definitely remarkable what they've done in such a short amount of time.
Oh, this is brilliant, and it's something I'm studying my PhD to do with XR and music technology. Is that the stars of the future we will see come from the metaverse and probably perform in the metaverse and not really go to whatever this mainstream or real reality is. We will see metaverse first stars and creators and artists, and the NFT scene is sort of showing that already. But the next stop after art is music, naturally. So that's that. Rob, we're going to come over to you to sort of wrap it up and summarize and maybe tell us when the next VR Manchester is. Wow, what a journey, mate. Like, what a great panel.
It's been great. So to answer one of your questions, I don't know when the next VR Manchester is, because we might be getting sponsorship. So that's why we're just a little bit on the back burner. But thanks for plugging. I can't wrap this up. It's like, I think I felt like I was like my VR enthusiasm started in 2016, so about 5 years ago now. And I felt like I was at the start of something then. But seeing the stuff that's been on today, Laura's using, Laura, the VR girl is using fairly basic puppeteering tech. Really, it's home kit, it's a VR kit to do this, and that's cool. But then when you combine that with the MetaHuman Creator stuff in Unreal Engine that Ryan showed us, I straight away now, I'm like, I want to do a virtual panel event using MetaHuman Creator stuff, because it's like it's there and it's affordable. So now we're like at the start of this other thing, this totally other thing where it's like it's almost a bit more. Well, democratized is unfair because you still need to buy tech, but it's getting closer to be able to be adopted by more people with just an iPhone. With people will be able to just use an iPhone to track their face and their body, and will be able to live in these avatars in quite interesting ways. So I think it's really exciting, and it was great to be part of it. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
No, and thank you to everybody. And I guess I'll just do a little summary and wrap up for everyone. But a big round of applause for our panel and all that sort of thing. Make it go off in the chat. Rob's bailed already. He's off to the pub, to the virtual pub. So make sure that you check out Lewis's work. There's a link as you come into the event. All the information, you have to just download a program. It doesn't take very long, and you can jump in and check out this space that's happening here. That's actually going to be open until 3 a.m. With all the music and interactivity, because it has to be hosted on a server, so it all interacts, and we have to pay for that server. So the part of the money that you've given for tickets goes to pay for that server. I am going to have a little bit of a break from doing these events until about October, because I've got to do an event in Bristol and I've got to do my PhD. But I'll be hanging out in our Facebook group. So if you haven't joined in, everyone that you've seen here through the entire day are all in our Facebook group, and it's a real cool community. And yeah, check it out and hang out. Lastly, the networking for this event will be open till 11. I've just changed the event settings. So if you do want to jump in and do some networking on this, it's like a video roulette. You don't know who you're going to be paired with, but you can chat. That'll be open till 11 o'clock. So if you're on the west coast of America, it is morning coming into afternoon, or maybe it's afternoon. But for the Brits, the UK contingent, it's now nearly it's just past 10 o'clock. So yeah, I just want to say a big thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark.
No worries. Lewis, everyone. So I'm going to close it down. I'm going to stop broadcasting, and I'll see you all in the metaverse. See you soon.
Bye.
Thank you.
See you, Rob.
Bye.